Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George, or all George. So, like I promised, tonight I'm going to talk about altcoins, crypto projects that you don't want to miss. Been talking a lot about Bitcoin, and of course, Bitcoin is the leader, but there are other crypto out there that's definitely worth picking up and worth DCAing into. So, let's discuss. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of my 2 or 3 streams, excuse me, per day. Also follow me on social media and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. I don't know why my screen is not working. Let me get that fixed. There we go. All right. So let's get started. Well, Bitcoin, peaked out around 44.7 earlier today. Now it's come back down a little bit, 44,000. But overall, Bitcoin, of course, is in recovery mode. A lot of, geopolitical stuff that's going on, a lot of macroeconomic stuff going on. Despite all of it, Bitcoin is coming back up. But tomorrow we'll have some more news about the Fed and meeting notes from January. So that was last month. That was before the inflation numbers and so forth, right? So there's a lot of stuff that is still pending and coming, right? But in the meantime, Bitcoin is coming back up. There are a lot of good reasons for why Bitcoin is going back up. But with Bitcoin up, you know what? Confidence is being restored to the crypto market. And of course, altcoins are now coming back. You see a lot more money flowing in. The Bitcoin dominance has fallen more to 42%. This morning it was like 42.3. And yesterday it was 42.5. So definitely a lot of money coming back into altcoins. So that is a very positive sign, right? So of course, good overall, right? I've been saying diversified portfolio. If you're an investor in crypto, diversified portfolio is definitely the best in my opinion, right? Making sure that you hold Bitcoin, around 50% of Bitcoin. That'll give you the stability of Bitcoin, but also 50% of altcoins, which will give you the growth. And we definitely see it, right? It goes both ways sometimes. Sometimes it does go down faster than Bitcoin, but when things recover and things are looking good, altcoins definitely lead the market. And you can see the global market cap is right under $2 trillion. I mentioned that this morning. We want to see above 2 trillion. 2 trillion is like a magical, nice sounding number that would be amazing if we could break above once again and just start, building up from there, rallying from there, right? So pretty close, pretty close. Now, before I get into these 6 crypto projects, right, there are some stuff I want to talk about. Pretty relevant stuff. Big endorsements, I would say. Big endorsements. First of all, Warren Buffett, who has been one of the biggest Bitcoin bears, I would say, right? Someone that is insanely wealthy through investing over many decades that he's been investing. Built up a ton of fortune. However, his mindset does not allow him to compute tech that well, especially when it comes to digital currencies like Bitcoin. Just does not believe in it. Calls it rat poison squared, right? But his actions recently may say otherwise. Maybe he's turning the corner. Maybe he's doing a 180 now, right? So Warren Buffett, his company, Berkshire Hathaway, owns a ton of stock in Visa and MasterCard. And guess what? He's actually selling off those stocks. And he's putting more into this fintech bank in Brazil called Nubank. And this made headlines last year. But he's putting more into that bank. And guess what? That bank does offer crypto services. Specifically, Bitcoin services, right? So does this mean he's warming up to Bitcoin? Maybe, he's not going to come out directly and say, well, I bought $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. But he is putting money into a bank that's very pro Bitcoin and crypto. So Very, very interesting, right? So we're getting this shift, right? It started in 2020, really escalated in 2021, and now in 2022, there's really like no doubt. There's in 2020, we kind of turned a shift from, naysayers that still called Bitcoin a fraud, a Ponzi, stack of, what do you call it? House of cards that's about to, collapse, right? To 2021, and that mindset changed where, okay, I just don't believe in Bitcoin, right? I know it's going higher. I know it's here to stay, but I just don't believe in Bitcoin. In 2022, it's like, yeah, Bitcoin is the way to go, right? The mindset has just been really shifting very pro. And this is one example. Another example is JP Morgan. Again, one of those banks, or I should say Jamie Dimon, one of those people that was really, really, really anti-Bitcoin, right? Again, spoke about Bitcoin in a very, very bad way, just like Warren Buffett. And guess what? JP Morgan, his firm, now opened a bank in the metaverse. So now you could visit JP Morgan in Decentraland. Think about that. So, I guess it's positive, right? This is a shift in thinking, or a shift of in the way they're doing business. And pretty soon, maybe you could get virtual loans, right? It'll be awesome if JP Morgan offered, a DEX or something inside their virtual bank. That would be awesome. That would be a real 180, right? To offer decentralized services within their metaverse bank. Think about that, right? It could be coming. It could be coming. So, yeah, that happened. New York Stock Exchange also filed a trademark application for trading NFTs. Think about that. The New York Stock Exchange is ready to allow people to trade NFTs. That is enormous. That is just something that's so ridiculous. If you brought that up like 3 or 4 years ago, you would be laughed out the door, right? No one would believe that, but this is coming. New York Stock Exchange is trying to provide downloadable virtual goods for NFT and digital collectibles, as well as authentication of data in the field of NFTs using blockchain technology. I kind of butchered that, but you get my drift, right? So even the New York Stock Exchange, not just even trading crypto, they want people to trade NFTs. Wow, right? So again, pretty big endorsements today. And speaking of NFTs, OpenSea is adding something. They're adding something, MetaLink customer service channel, which for creators is kind of like a customer service kind of channel. So basically, if you're a creator of a collection, you get to, give updates and answer questions, through this service, rather than Discord or Telegram, which could be fake. You just don't know who you're talking to these days, especially on Telegram. By the way, I would never reach out to anyone on Telegram because I still get scammed. I mean, I hear people getting scammed through impersonators on Telegram of me, and just to warn you guys, I would never do that. So, but anyways, I think this is good. Also relates to NFTs. And here's another endorsement. Look at this. Warren Davidson is introducing a Keep Your Coins Act. And this is a direct response to, according to her, crackdowns on civil liberties in Canada. Okay? Because right now, the Canadian government is trying to leverage legacy financial systems to disrupt payments or crowdfunding to the protest, right? Or to the truckers specifically. So this bill is actually structured so that any agency would not be able to prohibit users from using their virtual currency for purchases of goods or services, and cannot stop transactions through self-hosted wallets. That's pretty big. Right? So, if this passes, this Keep Your Coins Act, that will be absolutely phenomenal. And this is what all decentralization people want, basically, to be able to control your own funds, control your own wallet, control your own money, and have no one be able to stop it, right? And basically you're in control, and that's basically what this is. So that's also very big. So we got a lot of big endorsements today, a lot of big endorsements, positive endorsements for the entire community, for Bitcoin, for blockchain, for decentralization, right? It's all good. The mindset that, again, the sentiment of things have just really changed. All right. So enough of that. Let's talk about now to the 6 crypto projects or altcoins that you should not miss on. And these are ones I've mentioned many times before, but I know a lot of new people have started watching my channel, started tuning in, maybe wondering what's out there, right? So I think the easiest thing for people to do if you're a beginner, besides Bitcoin, if you want to know about which coins that are promising, which projects are worth looking into, well, head to DeFi Llama and look at chains, and definitely look at the crypto projects that have the most TVL, which is total value locked. This is liquidity, or basically coins and tokens that's locked into that chain. And of course, the more TVL you have, the better it is, right? That shows how many people are actually using it and actually staking and basically locking their crypto. And it definitely has an effect on the overall supply and scarcity of the coins and tokens that's out there. So, and these chains are all considered L1s, network protocols. And they are basically, the easy way to think about them are operating systems. They're operating systems for applications, which in this case is called dApps, decentralized applications. So if you're new, take a look at these. I would say start from the top and then go down from there, okay? So I'm not going to talk about Ethereum today, but Ethereum is definitely the big dog, and you should not ignore it. But I'm going to move on and cover a few of these other projects that are worth paying attention to. So first of all, let's start with Terra, which is number 2. Okay, number 2 in terms of TVL. First of all, you guys know I'm a big fan of Anchor Protocol, which is on top of Terra, which is our earning platform and lending platform that was created by Terra for the sole purpose of giving usage to UST so that you can earn. And you can see you earn 19.5%, and it's still ongoing. And people were freaking out that the reserves to keep that 19.5 going was running out and it was go to zero. Well, guess what? They have just approved another 450 million UST that will be replenishing. And that's just money for the taking, basically. So if you're staking UST in Anchor, you're making 19.5%. And this is with a stable coin. No fears of volatility, none of that. And I've been doing it for quite some time and making a good amount of passive income just from doing that. So that's very positive overall for Terra. One of the biggest reasons why Terra has done so well in 2021 and why I think they'll continue to do well, because of UST. UST is just blowing up everywhere. It is now available on Kraken Exchange. It's available on many exchanges out there, right? Including Coinbase and Gemini and KuCoin and Gate.io, like literally every single exchange. And there are many decentralized exchanges that are using UST, and also like someone like Penguin, which is one of the major DEX on Avalanche, is using UST as the main stable coin. They're using that above USDC and USDT as the main stablecoin pair. So UST is blowing up. It's all over the place. Total market cap is above 10 billion, and it could keep going, right? And how the token economic works between UST and Luna. Well, there's this dance. So in order for UST to be minted, you have to burn Luna, and it's the opposite. Right, if you're converting UST back, then Luna, comes back. So it's like it's a relationship there. But the more usage there is for UST, and the more people that use it and say lock it into Anchor, lock it into liquidity pools, or use it for anything else, well, that means you go have a substantial of Luna being burned in the future, right? So this shows you the supply of UST, right, versus Luna's price. And you can see Luna's price in 2021 just like went from, like $3, $4. I think I covered it around 10 or 15 or 20. I forget what. It went all the way to 100. Now it's come back down, right, because of what's been happening. But you could see that the supply of UST keeps going up, right? So that is going to catch up. Luna will be burned to catch up to that, right? So that's very significant. So if you look at it that way, well, Luna is actually very undervalued right now. So overall, I'm a big fan of Terra. They have a lot of things going on, right? They don't have the most robust, or I should say the number of offerings of DeFi projects versus other chains. But what they have is pretty good. And there's many things coming. There's metaverse plays. There's NFT plays. There's a lot of things coming. There's bridges into Terra. They're very close with Cosmos. So they have a really tight relationship with Cosmos and the DEXs on Cosmos like Osmosis. So there's a lot of things going on with Terra. That's number one. All right, number two, let's talk about Fantom. Fantom also, if you look at TVL, well, they're at number 5, 8.51 billion, which is very impressive because that's above Solana and above Polygon. So they're number 5 in total TVL, and they've been killing it. They just crossed 2 million wallet addresses, okay? 2 million, and it just, just look at that. It's just skyrocketing at this point. Fantom has one of the most robust DeFi ecosystems out there, which is why the TVL is so high. And if you look at their general update, you could tell. The general update from yesterday, it's nonstop DeFi projects coming on board. Here's a new one, Solidity. It's a new AM created by Andre Crony. So that's coming aboard. You have Archeon V2. There's just so much that's coming aboard basically every single week, right? And if you look at, transactions per day, it is climbing up like crazy too. And here's one, not that I like leverage, but there's a leverage yield pool now that's available on Fantom. So you have that too. Like I said, their DeFi offering is outstanding. There are so many projects on top of Fantom. And here's another one. Statter Labs allows for liquid staking. So rather than traditional staking where you're just locking your FTM token, now you could lock it in, get equivalent synthetic token given back to you, and then you could use that in DeFi, and you can stake that too. So there's liquid staking gives you another layer of usage on top of staking. So that's aboard too. So like I said, Fantom is fantastic. It's a layer 2, in case you don't know. Layer 2, it was created to help scale Ethereum, but they're way beyond that now. They're still relatively small, not big as, say, Polygon or some of the other guys, but they have so many DeFi projects to really go carry them forward. So that's number 2. Number 2 is Fantom. The next one I want to talk about is Avalanche, which is number 4, right above Fantom at 11.02 billion. I like Fantom. Fantom also has a huge ecosystem. They are L1, like I said. And, their metrics, if you measure metrics, I just talked about Fantom's. Avalanche's metrics is off the charts. So total transactions per day over 1 million, and you can see how that's just going up. Unique addresses right around 2 million, kind of like Fantom, right? There's just a lot of things going on, and I've showed you guys this. The TVL has exploded to number 4. So obviously when you're measuring usage, you're measuring how much liquidity is locked in. Avalanche is going up to the moon. Okay, this is also interesting. This shows you the energy usage. I don't think many people in this space care about energy usage, but we know Bitcoin mining, ESG, a lot of FUD, right? Ethereum still is proof of work, so it does take a lot of energy. But then if you look at it, even Solana, which is way less, and then Avalanche, Avalanche claims they only use 0.0028 of the Ethereum network, and that's because they are proof of stake right now, which is something that Ethereum is trying to convert to. So kind of interesting to throw that out there, right? Also, they have a lot of DeFi projects. They have Trader Joe and Penguin, and there's many others, but they also have bridges so that there's more TVL that's been throwing out there, not just on their own chain, but other chains as well. So recently there's a new bridge that just came out, right? So very low cost bridge. And you could bridge between many different chains. Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, and there's a whole lot more. And that helps with the TVL locking. And let's not forget, one of the biggest games, DeFi games on Harmony, DeFi Kingdoms, they're coming aboard to Avalanche soon. That's going to be pretty big. This game is very big, widely used. I still stake within this game, but there is going to be a whole other, what do they call it, continent or something that's going to be coming aboard Avalanche. So that could definitely spur more interest for Harmony as well. All right, so that's number 3. Or number 2. 3. All right, let's talk about number 4. And this is out there. So number 4 is Algorand. Algorand is another L1, right? But recently they made headlines, at least CryptosRUs did. There's a new decentralized music platform that raised $4.5 billion. No, not billion, million. On top of Algorand. And guess who contributed? It's the Musk family. Not Elon himself, but his brother. So the Musk family now invested in this project, the Quincy, that's on top of Algorand. So good star power right there, right? But overall, Algorand has been making a lot of inroads in Latin America. For example, El Salvador, right, which made a big splash about going with Bitcoin and making legal tender. Well, most people don't know Algorand is powering their infrastructure. And the banks in El Salvador already utilize Algorand too. That's why Algorand actually is helping banks and helping countries come out with CBDCs. And not only CBDCs, well, for example, this Colombian government selects VitalPass, and this is for a digital vaccine passport. So there's an app, but this is also built on Algorand, right? So Algorand has a big influence within Latin America, and I think they're only going to get bigger in Latin America. So overall, Algorand has a unique advantage, but you know, there's other things going on too. DeFi is not as strong as some of the other players, but there's definitely a lot of NFT projects. They're partnered up with Michael Schumacher and F1, and there are a lot of other NFT stuff. It's on top of Algorand too. So I think they're pretty good. Definitely one you don't want to sleep on. All right, next up is Cardano. Cardano. You guys know about Cardano. Most of you guys know about Cardano, I think. A lot of you guys know about Charles and love Charles. Well, Cardano, despite the fact they don't have a lot of DeFi, well, their transactional volume beats Bitcoin and Ethereum combined. That's a lot of volume. So there's definitely a lot of usage, right? And speaking of DeFi and TVL, well, it's starting to go up. It's starting to go up ever since Sunday Swap turned on, right? TVL has been growing, not quite to $1 billion yet, but you can definitely see it is growing. And the bigger Sunday Swap gets, and the more DEXs that come aboard, well, it's going to help ADA in a big way, right? Many didn't know this. I didn't know this until recently. Well, there's a Cardano UTP that hit the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. So obviously this is a stock or exchange traded product that's tracking Cardano. That's interesting. But what I really found interesting was Sunday Swap. They have just announced a reverse ISO proposal. One of the things that Charles really is aiming for and really loves is decentralization on all fronts, not just from a pool perspective or a staker perspective or even a token perspective, but also from a governance perspective. And many projects don't really concentrate on that. Cardano wants true decentralization of governance too, so they're trying to build towards that, and that's why there's like 3 entities that's controlling the way Cardano is being built. However, SundaeSwap is trying to fix something that they caused, which is there was many pools that contributed to SundaeSwap's ISO offering, which is basically like an airdrop, right? And basically the pools that supported the airdrop or the ISO, they got a lot of stakers. A lot of people moved their ADA to them. So now it's a little bit less decentralized versus before. So this reverse ISO is basically going to take some of the ADA out of those pools and put it into the less used pools. I don't actually know how they're going to do that, but that's the whole thing. They want to make sure that no pools become too big and it kills off the smaller pools. See, this is something that almost every other chain would not worry about. I mean, this is the big issue that's plaguing EOS right now. It has plagued Neo in the past. It has plagued a lot of other projects because of how centralized basically the block producers or the nodes were. So again, then they have all the power and the governance and decision making, right? So SundaeSwap is actually trying to solve that, which I think is really interesting. Very, very interesting. But anyways, Cardano, still work in progress, but they do have smart contracts. Next up is working on scaling and then governance. And then they'll be finally complete. So don't sleep on Cardano. And lastly, I want to talk about Kadena, which is off card. Ace up the sleeve. So Kadena is one that I brought up last year. I think they're very promising. Also, L1. But unlike the others, they're actually using proof of stake. They're using the consensus from Bitcoin because they believe that's the best. But they figured out how to scale it through multiple chains. So they could actually chain multiple chains together, still using proof of work so that you can still mine, but they made it more efficient and scales infinitely. And the team has a lot of experience, and they have a ton of supporters. But recently they just launched this Kadena Eco, which is going to help them grow even more. And they're still very early stage, but this Eco is going to bring on an incubator to help develop some of these dApp makers, accelerator to help them launch and get funding. They're going to do research and development. They're going to offer grant programs and even a venture fund, right? So this Eco is basically, their way to really broaden the ecosystem, right? And I support it. I think every developing L1 should have something like this, right? And then other things that I really like about them, CADX, which is one of the promising DEXs that's going to launch at Kadena. They launched a mobile wallet, which is great. But next up is their full-fledged DEX. In fact, they were just having a public sale of their tokens, and I believe that just ended like an hour ago. So, but very promising project. And also, they're going to have a lot of NFTs using Marmalade, which is a new kind of protocol for NFT marketplaces that will be built on top of Kadena. So they're still really small. I mean, compared to some of these other ones I've mentioned, very small. That's why I say it's like a ace in the sleeve kind of play, because they can definitely go on a tremendous run once all these things come together, right? And it definitely could. All right, guys, that's the 6 projects I want to talk about. So hopefully that was educational. All right, now let's do some Q&A. Ooh, so a lot there. So tomorrow, just FYI, let's look at futures. Tomorrow, basically flat still. Basically flat. Hey, look at this headline. Some lawmakers and their families are betting thousands of dollars on crypto. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So that's not surprising. And of course, we have allies now in Congress right? Just keep your coins active. If passed, this is absolutely huge. This is basically saying that no, the U.S. government cannot interfere with you when you want to use your crypto for services and for goods and transactions through a self-hosted wallet like a Ledger or Treasure or anything that isn't, or trust, yeah, anything that isn't on a centralized exchange, right? So we got allies now. Think about that. All right, opinions on AMP. AMP has been really stagnant. So they're in the payment sector, but really the retail payment sector. So I think that's what's holding them back, because a lot of retail stores are not doing very well. And there's not a lot of spending directly at the retail stores, but they're still growing. They're collateralized crypto, a little bit different than some of the other crypto out there. I think they're still a good project, but you got to have patience with them. All right. I mentioned about Polygon before, didn't mention them today, but I've created several videos about Polygon. I do like them. How much can you bench? Oof, not much. I started hitting the gym more recently. But yeah, my bench has gone down quite dramatically. So I'm just doing 135s right now. But hopefully I could build up to 3 plates like my golden days. Not that I really need to bench 315, like who cares? Or 305, I should say. Thanks for all you do, from Tyler. I appreciate that. Thank you. Do you think Crypto.com become one of the biggest exchanges in the future? Yeah, they have the dollars. They have the dollars to make that happen. Obviously, they had a Super Bowl ad with LeBron, right? I wasn't a fan of the CGI of that baby LeBron, but they definitely have. They have the war chest to make it happen. Can you talk about Canada linking crypto to terrorism and moving to ban it? What can we do if they freeze our bank accounts? How can BTC help if it's made illegal? Well, I think you're overblowing it, but they're using that excuse. Basically, they want to stop crowdfunding. They want to stop transactions going basically to the truckers, right? That's part of the Emergency Act. But how can Bitcoin help? Bitcoin help because you can send Bitcoin to anyone directly. And I think many people make this mistake thinking that, oh, Bitcoin needs to be converted to fiat for it to work. No, you can use Bitcoin to pay for things, right? Not as extensive, but there's plenty of places that you could use Bitcoin directly. And there's plenty of debit cards also, if you really wanted to. There's debit cards that will convert basically your crypto to fiat, and you can spend it anywhere. Right? But the whole purpose of Bitcoin is it can't be confiscated unless they physically, force it out of you. But there's no middleman. There's no banks it traverses. There's no payment gateway it traverses. There's nothing in the middle that will stop you from sending your Bitcoin to someone else, right? And vice versa. So that's how it could help. Teresa, finally managed to get your strap-on NFT. One happy woman. Cheers from New Zealand. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate your support. I'm glad you enjoy it. Many people enjoyed it. I gave away 3 of them as a contest this morning. A lot of people solved that math equation. So good for you. Hopefully you just didn't Google it. But it's a hard one. But I'm glad so many people enjoy it. Tomcat. Yup. Jackal, I'll say this, right, about BlockFi. You said if I was BlockFi, I would pay the settlement in pennies. No, there's a reason why they did it. So just wait. They are working on something much better, and this is just kind of the first step, right? So I can't say more than that. They're going to do something else, and just wait until that comes out. In the meantime, enjoy your BlockFi credit card. Bitcoin Rewards credit card. Mysterious Marissa, appreciate it. What's your opinion on Vauld? Well, obviously I have them as a partner. I do use them right now. They have tremendous rates for stable coins and for Polygon. So I deposited my Polygon into it recently. It's as easy as cake to use. Good show. Staking is a way to go, especially on Fantom. Fantom, there's so many ways to stake Fantom. If you want to do a traditional way, of course, you could stake Fantom in Fantom's wallet, and away you go. And I believe it's paying like 9 to 10%, which is pretty high, right? But considering all the DeFi projects on top of Fantom, there are so many ways to earn more yield than just 9 or 10%. Obviously, it comes with risk, but there's a lot of options out there, a lot of options. All right. Harmony. I like Harmony. I like it a lot. Avalanche will never flip ETH. Yeah, it's very far off, but never say never. Never say never. If Ethereum is supposed to move to proof of stake sometime in June, right? And that's been delayed already for many years now. Every single time it seems like they're going to move to proof of stake, it gets delayed. But if they keep delaying it, you know, it's going to be an issue, right? You can only delay it so long. But, yeah, I don't think they're going to lose their position unless they really, really screw up. I just don't think so. Austin, I'm not familiar with YubiKey. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. Polkadot is dead. No, it's not dead. GA, BlockFi settlement, implications, please. Well, I think you've already heard of what happened. So they settled SEC. SEC does not like lending projects. That's not approved by the SEC. So for the time being, if you have your crypto in BlockFi, you still earn interest, but you can't deposit new crypto or create a new account that will earn interest. So that is the case. But like I said, they're working on something that is going to be SEC approved. So they will be the only player in the game that will have a product that will be fully endorsed by the SEC. That is what they're working on right now, but they can't give out more details about it. But they're working on something big, so this is just temporary. However, you know that SEC overall does not like lending projects because I think they're just trying to protect the banks. That's what they're trying to do. How do you feel about DeFi Metaverse Index? I don't know what that is. I've never seen it. Rappy, I don't know. I just am. Thank you. How do you see 2022 for Solana? I think Solana will continue to do well. I think they're going to hold in the top 10, but, you know, Solana needs to fix their network and make sure it doesn't go down anymore. That's kind of concerning. And, you know, if they could fix that, it'd be dandy. Believe in Buterin when it comes to 2.0. I hope so. Raphael, you're the best. Been watching you for a while now. Made nice profits with your help. Thank you. And I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that too. YubiKey is a security feature better than Google Authenticator. You don't need better than Google Authenticator. Just use Google Authenticator or Authy. So I don't think that you need something better, but maybe there is something better. Crypto the smallest carbon footprint. Well, Avalanche argues they have the smallest. Well, at least they're smaller than Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't know if they're advertising that they're the smallest ever, but yeah, their footprint is pretty small. Ethereum 2.0. No, Sheep 2.0 before ETH. I don't know if that's true. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Overall, let's see what happens tomorrow. Market U.S. equity market is flat. Crypto market, on the other hand, is not flat. Very green today. And will this continue tomorrow? Sure, it could. So tune in tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time for my market open stream. And I'll see you guys then. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.